Hey guys, it's Mike here, and welcome to another edition of Dragon Ball Super Reviews, in which I'm going to be giving you my review for Dragon Ball Super Episode 64, and breaking down the episode as it goes along, talking about what I liked, what I didn't like, what, that happened during the episode, and giving my overall thoughts on it. And today I'm actually going to be putting my reviews and predictions into one single continuous video. So after my review is done, make sure to stick around for the actual predictions portion, in which I'll be telling you what I think is going to be happening in episode 65 and what is going to come in the future, and I have some theories about that as well. So without further ado, let's get into this review. And of course, this episode left off in the same place that the last week's episode left off in which, we saw Vegeta was dominating Black. He got that power up through training in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, which it seems like, I guess, he destroyed with his own power, Although I feel like that feat might still not be as impressive as some people are making it out to be, but I'll talk about that maybe a little bit later on. But Vegeta did, he was wrecking him. I mean, it's pretty cool to see. It was like, he threw him, he like swung him around the big swing like Cesaro, and he threw him straight through like all these buildings. It was just utterly wrecking him. And then Black, finally understand why you were able to improve so quickly, Now it's because I realize that it is due to the anger that you use, the anger that I was harming your son, that is saying, now he realizes how simple it is, and it's turning anger itself into power. And, he's saying, oh, it's an ugly method that only a mortal could think up, so I had overlooked it, because obviously, he and Zamasu basically feel that they're so superior to all the mortal people, being gods themselves, that they don't even consider their own alternatives, which it's kind of funny. I mean, he has a Saiyan's body. He uses all of the alternative means that the Saiyans do. Now it's suddenly like, oh, wait, maybe I should just use anger to get more powerful. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't know this already, since he already knows, like, all Goku's techniques, but, I guess it makes sense. I guess he watched him on GodTube, on his typewriter, or whatever it was, depending upon your own version. So, like, Black seems to, like, charge up his power. And, he's talking about how angry he truly is at the mortals who disrespect the universe, at the gods who overlook such disrespect, and then, of course, at himself, his powerless self for losing to a mere mortal, because Vegeta was, kicking his ass. So he, like, puts his blade into his hand, and Vegeta the whole time is like, what the heck is this guy doing? Is he mutilating himself out of his own anger, But then he starts, like, grabbing and he pulls it out, and he turns it into this awesome, like, scythe, And I talked about that in my predictions last week, which you can go check out on my channel, in which, I thought this is another kind of power up he was going to get. It seemed like Black is continually pulling all his power, I guess, instead of out of his ass, out of his hands. And, it looks awesome. I mean, look at this thing. Like, if we actually take a moment to zoom in and look at it, like, this is just cool. Like, there's been so much great imagery in this arc thus far, and it continues to excel. And so he's like, oh, by turning my anger into power, I've gained another new power. Now, real quick, I do feel like, he was talking about, oh, if anger makes you stronger, then the anger I hold, which is greater than anyone else's, makes me the strongest. Now, I would like to say, just real quick, that again, it seems like either they're retconning how Goku's power works in this series, or they are themselves, like, Goku beating this guy up, He was talking about how, like, oh, you're a fake, you can't use the power as well as the real Goku can, but I mean, looking at this, when have we ever seen Goku do anything this cool? Like, when have you ever seen him do a move or an ability like this? Whenever we ever seen him get Zenkais in the middle of a battle? Like, not after a battle, not after he healed, but in the middle of one, Like, that doesn't really happen, Like, even though Toriyama said in that one interview about how Goku to match up to Beerus or whatever, we don't really see that at any point in the series, except for when Goku first turns into a Super Saiyan. I guess he got angry when he was fighting against Black, and so he got another rage boost, which everyone in the series is getting right now. But that's not really how Goku's powers ever worked in the past, so I mean, I guess they're retconning it now. Goku and everyone else is Broly now. I don't really know. Like, power, because I don't think he does, and, you know, that whole thing's non-canon, so, like, so, like, he slashes at Vegeta with this energy keyblade of his, this scythe, and Vegeta dodges. He's like, oh, that's not a speed, I can't dodge. And he looks, he's like, what the hell is that? And it looks like in time and through all the different universes themselves, he's saying, you know, is this a different universe? The anger itself that I hold within me, and my power has surpassed even my own understanding and approached untouched heights. And again, I really like this. This is something I really like. First off, looking at it, it looks a lot like Gygus from Earthbound. If anyone, you know, who follows me has actually played that game, let me know down reminiscent to him. And it's like, oh, you know, my true power or Gygus's true attack cannot be comprehended. And then Black himself is talking about how he can't even comprehend his own true power at this point. It's all beyond his own understanding. So I don't know if there's any influence there, but either way, it's something I'm really liking. And I'm really liking all these feats that are showing these characters as powerful as they truly are. Because at this point, they can destroy the universe, all right? We know that. So seeing him, like, smashing, ripping through space and time and creating these weird portals itself is definitely just awesome to see. And I'm really liking that so far. And, you know, another good cinematography aspect of this, you know, going from inside of Black's eye, looking at it, to now in Zamasu's eye, he's like, oh, fighting strong enemies brings us to even greater heights. That's truly the work of the god. Proof the power of the that judges all of existence. And then Goku's like, yeah, you left yourself on guard, and he punches him right in the face, making his eye over here bug out. Very reminiscent to Uncle Ruckus from the Boondocks, as I talked about before. I know QAAMAN always loves when I make those references. What y'all saying's doing here? Deliveries in the back, saying, you know, I'm sure everyone will get the reference who's seen Boondocks. I mean, Uncle Ruckus would be Frieza in this case, I guess, or that'd be Ed Wensler. That'd be a really funny crossover. Somebody's got to do that. Somebody got to make that and send it to me on my Twitter, because I want to see that. He's like, oh, hasn't being immortal made you a bit too careless? And then Zamasu's like, I'm immortal. What the hell is the point of you attacking me? Like, you mortals are just dumb. Are you trying to buy time? And Goku's like, yeah, I'm not gonna tell you that, because I'm being smart in this case. Great idea. You know, he doesn't want to lose to anybody, even though the guy's immortal and you literally can't beat him. I don't want to lose. Hey, at least he's actually being helpful in this case, you know. He's being way more helpful in this arc than the Buu Saga. I mean, I cannot in any way, shape, or form say otherwise. Even though that Goku in many ways kind of led to everything in Trunks' timeline being destroyed, at least he didn't mess up his own this time, so, good job, Goku. Alright, so, like, we see that, like, they're about to face off, this awesome scene. Now, we see lightning around them, which means that they're clearly Super Saiyan 2s. We know that there's never, ever any lightning in any other situation in this series unless they're Super Saiyan 2. So, Gohan wasn't a Super Saiyan 2 when he fought Deborah, and, they're clearly Super Saiyan 2s, and Toei messed up with the hair, you know, that's why it's blue. It's just the background, don't worry, you know, that's yellow. You know, clearly yellow. Anyway, let's get on to the next picture, and we see this awesome thing. Once again, I feel like this right here is foreshadowing the fusion, and we'll talk about this in a few minutes, because we already know what's already going to happen. You guys have seen the episode by now, probably, but if you haven't, you're in for a shocker, just like I was. Well, you know, kind of. You know, the foreshadowing of the two being the two halves of one, and their punches and their clashes, like, actually were shattering all the buildings around them. Mai was hanging out there, you know. Trunks is like, hey, Mai, you alright? And she's like, yeah, but then we find out Trunks actually fixed the urn that they were going to seal Zamasu away in, you know, using that super glue. Again, super glue solves almost everything. They should have put some duct tape on there, maybe. I mean, that would have helped it, but, you know, that's just how it is. You know, he said, like, oh, what's going on? Wait a second, Zamasu's coming right towards them. And, of course, that was a good little cliffhanger to keep you tuned in for the next half of the episode, because this was the first half of the episode. Now, real quick, I do want to talk about how much I do, really. I really have enjoyed this episode thus far, and I feel like, these episodes recently have just been blowing by. Like, every single time it even gets to the middle of the episode, I'm like, no, there's no way it's already in the middle of the episode. So, if you guys agree with me, let me know down below, because I feel like I'm not the only one who thinks this. Like, when these episodes are good, they just go so fast. It makes me wish they were an hour long or something, like, Daredevil or a Netflix series. I mean, just imagine if they put a Dragon Ball, series on Netflix, and they do make an hour long each episode. I mean, that's just, a pipe dream, but it'd be awesome nonetheless. And I like these. It's like Toei themselves are giving us thumbnails here. I mean, nobody uses them, but it's really cool to see when they actually do little things like this, like really cool splash pages, And this has already been reused, but I always really like this one. I like it when they add new ones. So yeah, hey, it's one of the Trunkses. That's something. Hey, it's even Dr. Brief and Patchy. Cool. Anyway, so once they find out that they're coming, Bulma's like, oh, we gotta use the evil containment wave to seal Zamasu away, or the Mafuba. Now, you can go check out Hail Zeon's video, but they are using a lot of dub terms now in the subtitled version of Dragon Ball, and as we know, the subtitle versions never use these dub terms because they come from the dub, not the subs, and they're not necessarily the most accurate version. Like, they don't call the they call the Mafuba the evil containment wave, but they don't call the Kamehameha the turtle destruction wave, as far as I can remember from these new subs. So, like, it's a little nitpick here, but I don't really mind too much because, I'm one of the few people in this community, I guess, who still likes the dub and still doesn't really mind it that much. Like, I've seen much worse dubs of anime in the past. That's Dragon Ball fans gotta watch some more anime, because there's much worse anime out there than GT and Super and all this other stuff that people always complain about. There's much worse standards to hold this stuff to. Then he's like, wait a second, only with Goku can we use that. I can't use it. And Bulma's like, no, you're gonna do it. And at that point I was like, okay, so this is exactly what I wanted last week, and I said I want Trunks to use the evil containment wave, and now they're finally giving it to me. So again, good job, Toei, good job, Toriyama. And then we see, like, this weird thing that's going on. Now, I talked about this in my preview again, and somehow Black seems to have used this distortion in space-time to create, like, Majin Buu-esque clones that, like, they look a little bit different. They're a little bit more grayed out than he is, I guess, although, still kind of weird coloring in this scene. But, like, they're all coming out of this hole, and they're all, like, forming just like Majin Buu did when he was first, coming out of that ball of smoke that Babidi had sealed him in, or Bibidi had sealed him in, Babidi had released him. And, like, whenever he regenerates, and he's like, what's wrong with mortals? Has the work of the god left you frozen, unable to move? And, they're going and they're destroying all of them, but again, they're all reforming. This is also very reminiscent of the Plan to Eradicate the Super Saiyan, the remake of Plan to Eradicate the Saiyan, although I think it was the same in both of them, where they had these, ghostly spirit warriors, and they were pretty much doing very similar things. So, again, Dragon Ball Super has borrowed a good amount of stuff from the quote-unquote non-canon aspects of this show. And I don't really mind that too much. But, I mean, it seems like they themselves can attack him, too. Like, they're not just illusions like a double image. And it keeps creating even more. Like, even more keep coming. They're even saying, Vegeta, their numbers are going up instead of going down. What's going on? And he's like, oh, with strength like that, you won't be able to pursue Zamasu. And they start blasting them, flurrying them. But they're all coming right back. Like, they all keep coming right back. And there's just no end to them. And I would like to say real quick that Zamasu, or Black using this amount of power right now, and getting already seemingly stronger than Goku and Vegeta, seems to, like, once again tie in with what I've been saying for a little bit. Their power is not going up that much. Like, when they're training, like, Vegeta didn't get 10 times or 5 times stronger in the hyperbolic time chamber from what, we can tell. Like, Zamasu, like, Black, his Super Saiyan Rose transformation is not that big of an increase. It's not 50 times from, there's no way they could hang with him like they have been if it was 50 times. So, like, Zamasu, we're going to be talking about this, actually, myself and MJ from Geeklist TV. We're going to be doing a video in which we're going to be delving into that, what the multiplier for the Super Saiyan Rose transformation is, very soon. So we're going to be talking about that, but it seems pretty clear that, like, they're not getting that much more powerful when they're getting their rage boost, when they're getting everything, because it doesn't make sense how they can keep, like, hovering around the same area, and Black keeps getting his power, like, he keeps getting his boost over them back if it's, like, 10s or 20 times, and you don't need that much to dominate someone. Like, Black could still theoretically be doing this at, like, 20% stronger. It's just a technique he's really utilizing right now to get the maximum effect on these guys, and he's like smashing through reality too. So obviously he's got a little bit of reality warping going on here, I would guess. So he's like, oh, I'll fight you guys once you fail the ones that you're supposed to, that you actually care for, and become even stronger through your own power and your own anger. So again, Black continues to try and power up, by getting these weird, mid-battle Zenkai, so everyone's getting their rage boost. If they really wanted to make everyone rage out, I think a great, character who's missing from here might have been Gohan, because the whole arc has been like rage boost, rage boost, rage boost. Well, which character invented that, pretty much, Which character, essentially, is the guy who always got those and who always made a difference? Gohan. Where is he? If Future Trunks, on his own, pretty much, I guess he had a little bit of training with the Kais in the anime. We never saw what happened in the anime with them, really. If he could train and get, like, stronger in his base than they are, then I don't see why Gohan theoretically couldn't, especially since he did train for 9 months with Piccolo, and we saw how strong Piccolo got. But I digress. Everyone's going to complain that I'm talking about Gohan again. So, like, we see that they actually come up with a good excuse. Like, they're trying to instant teleport and transmission, whatever, to, the Shukan Ido to, Trunks' location, but all the energy is really messed up because the distortion in reality, so they can't do it. So, again, a good example of something to make, tension. And then a great example of comedy, Trunks is trying to figure out the evil containment wave, and he's doing all these crazy poses, like kind of like the Ginyu Force, or the Great Saiyaman in this case, and there's Captain Ginyu right there, and they're all just like, none of these poses are doing anything. I'm surprised Mai isn't, checking this out a little bit. I mean, she's probably used to it by now, if you know what I mean, but... it's like, oh, wait, maybe we should try doing this. So Bulma whips out her iPhone or Windows Phone or something, and we get a really great scene, which I really enjoyed, with Piccolo actually showing off the evil containment wave, the Mafuba, and playing something in there. And that's the evil containment wave right there. Although I did kind of wish that maybe they had showed, like, something even funnier happen afterwards, like where we find out Piccolo, like, sealed away Krillin or Yamcha. Especially Yamcha would be really funny. He's like, guys, come on, you shouldn't be doing this to me. I'm Yamcha. I'm the most famous, successful baseball player in the history of the world that nobody ever seems to remember. Like, every single time I went up to bat, I should have got a home run. Come on, guys, what are you doing? I'm such a loser, guys. Please, just wish me immortal already. Come on. But yeah, it didn't happen. Obviously, Trunks is all pissed off. He's like, that's completely different. They got to figure out it. So it's like, knowing the pose, we can't just use the move. Again, Trunks is using, common sense, which nobody else in Dragon Ball seems to do. And so Bulma's like, oh, I'll just buy you some time. Within 4 or 5 minutes, you should learn the evil containment wave. So again, they're using that 5 minutes thing, in Dragon Ball. Everything in Dragon Ball, like all the climactic events seem to happen around the course of 5 minutes, like everything. Like, so Trunks is going to learn this ultimate move that not even Master Roshi himself could move by watching a video on Bulma's cell phone in order to learn the Mafuba so that he could try and seal away Zamasu. Alright, let's do it. And then Bulma shows up and she starts flirting with Zamasu. She's like, oh, you're going to make a world for yourself? Oh, what a grand scale. What if I became the wife of a god? Would any wish of mine be granted? Would I be called a goddess? I think I might fall into forbidden love. And then Zamasu's like, bitch, this shit ain't happening. Once you go black, you never go back. And Bulma can clearly tell that is the truth. I mean, she went with Vegeta. I don't even know what that means. But anyway, we see him holding this, and then, it's very reminiscent. Trunks is seeing a flashback, his PTSD days, kind of like, Batman, I guess, in the new continuity of DC. And he's looking and seeing exactly what happened when Black killed Bulma, the future Bulma, his mother, right in front of his eyes. In that really horrible death, that we saw. And it was really an emotional scene. And I always love, Trunks, more emotion coming into this arc, us seeing this, and, the actual struggles and problems that we have to see Trunks going through, and reliving all this stuff over and over again, just kind of like what happened in the Cell Saga. Like, everything kind of echoes and happens again, regardless of the changes they make. Things continue to happen in very similar ways. And, like, he throws her to the side, and Trunks freaks out. He thinks that she's dead, and so he readies himself, and Zamasu's like, there's nothing you can do to me. And so, I mean, first off, look at this awesome animation. I mean, this is high-quality stuff here, like, right now. I love, like, this might be my desktop background very soon. But, like, this episode definitely had some great animation in it so far. Like, I have to say that. Like, there's some, like, weird-looking scenes here and there, but overall, like, very consistent. You can tell they put their budget into it. And then Trunks uses the evil containment wave. And first off, I thought it's not going to work on Zamasu at all, because he's still just standing there and he's immortal. But then it actually did start to work, and he's being flown around. He's like, what is this technique? And Trunks and Mai are like, this is the strength of the mortals, and, how could a selfish god like you claim to understand mortals, and don't underestimate us. And Zamasu's actually freaking out despite being immortal. He's like, wait, is this how it all ends? And I actually like the little screams that his voice actor was doing. They sounded really creepy when he was doing it, like really high pitched, almost kind of like the Wicked Witch of the West or something like that. A very evil being, and also another green being. I mean, maybe he did get some inspiration there. And they actually succeed in sealing him away. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. And I really did like this. Trunks did something helpful for once. And so it's really nice to see that happen. And so in the next, we see everyone. It's like, oh, if Zamasu escapes, we're in for a disaster. This is going to be like a big problem. And so it's like, so hurry up, get the lid, seal that lid with the talisman and the paper amulet we have right here. And then Mai and everyone's like, wait a second, where's the amulet? And Trunks is like, uh-oh. So, we zoom back to the present. We see, in the Kami house, we see that Master Roshi's holding it, and he's like, hey, you forgot something important. And then Trunks is like, oh shit, Piccolo. Piccolo's like that idiot. Now, again, Piccolo and, Tien are two characters who knew the Mafuba, and were smart enough to not forget this incredibly important element. So, I gotta question why they didn't go to the future. Maybe, like, that could help send those guys to the future. They could be helpful. They could remember that, as I just said, but they could also do something. Tien hasn't been this entire arc, despite the fact that he also knows this move that this guy knows. And why didn't Piccolo just go? Like, again, we know Piccolo can get taller and bigger. I know he's like 7'5" or something, but there's no reason why Namekian, like, why can't he just rip his arms and legs off and just like stick himself in the time chamber and then regenerate once he, or not the time chamber, in the time machine, and then regenerate once he gets there? Why can't he just like, why can't he be like, hey, Goku, blast the bottom part of my body off so I can fit in the time machine. You could stick me in like the glove compartment, and then I'll get there and I'll regenerate and we'll beat this dude. I don't know. Maybe it's like The Walking Dead, where they can't have multiple green characters in an episode at the same time without killing them off, if you get that reference. So, yeah, it didn't work, and naturally Zamasu escapes, and he's like, oh shit, what the hell just happened to me? And then Black's like, wait a second, his energy's been disappearing and reappearing, so I'm going to teleport over there and find out what's going on. And weirdly, like, all the apparitions and everything just vanished once Black left. And I don't really know necessarily why. I guess his power was also keeping it open, or maybe it's something to do with him being his proximity there. Although, I mean, if it goes beyond space and time, like, proximity is incredibly relative in this case, but I don't really know. It's still a really cool ability he has nonetheless, although, maybe a little explanation or something could help. I don't really know. But they all disappeared, and they all teleport there in time. And Zamasu, or Black, is like, look at yourself, what just happened to you? And Zamasu's like, okay, I get it now. We've been making a terrible error in judgment, and these immortals are not mere bugs. They're character, like, they have these abilities that we gotta, like, figure out, like, we gotta stop them. We just can't keep dawdling. We can't just keep messing around. We can't be careless, or our ideas will disappear. All what we believe in will vanish in an instant. So they're like, okay, we have no choice. Playtime is over. It's time for us to show them the true power of the gods. And Zamasu's like, grovel before our luminance, takes off his earring, and finally it's the time we've been waiting for, I guess, this entire arc now, or for at least, since the Supreme Kai and Kibito defused, and that is now we're finally going to see fusion. And it happens, so that's your move. And the two of them, they put the earrings on the opposite sides, they smash together, they fuse together in a blinding light, everything comes forth, and we finally see this awesome new fusion. And it's awesome. My form is justice, my form is the world, revere me, praise me, the noble and beautiful, immortal and most powerful god, Zamasu. And with that, that is the end of the episode, and man, that was an awesome cliffhanger that had me, my mind and my brain were just blowing up inside of my skull right there when everything happened. It was crazy. I mean, it's like a face-melting solo from, Megadeth or something like that just makes your brain melt into a puddle. But real quick, I do want to say, I just feel kind of bad in the scene for future Trunks, because despite them knowing what's going on here, future Trunks wasn't around during the Buu saga, so when you think about it, like, he probably doesn't know what the hell is going on. He's probably like, wait a second, what do those earrings do? Wait, they can fuse together. Wait a second, what's going on? Why are they smashing together? Are they showing off some interesting new dynamics in this? Oh wait, they're one being. What the hell? Yeah, so, like, they know what was going on, Goku and Vegeta. They've done it before, and Trunks is just like, oh, okay. So we're definitely screwed, right, guys? Right? And yeah, they pretty much were. So, this guy is incredibly powerful now, we can tell. I mean, he's flown with God Ki. This guy is super powerful. He's got Rainbow behind him. So I'm guessing this is the new debut now of the Super Saiyan Rainbow, finally. You can see all these colors. It's finally happening, and Broly will finally return. And now he has 2 earrings on both ears, so I don't know. Maybe him and Vegeta will fuse, and together they will stop the ultimate Rainbow White legendary Super Saiyan Broly. I don't know, but I really like this episode. It was really good overall. I really thought it's something leading into next episode that I can't wait to see, and I hope the next episode is going to be great. But let's talk about that next episode right now. I've kept you guys waiting for my preview and predictions for so long, so let's get into those predictions. And from what we can see, it appears that he has this ability now, like this weird halo wing thing behind him, like right here. I'm trying to remember what this looks really similar to, because I know I've seen this in like another anime or another series or something, a very similar design. And they're talking about, like, what is this light of Zamasu's? Is this the pressure of a god's energy? Now, I do feel like this line is kind of weird, because Goku and Vegeta have God Ki in this form. Like, they know what God Ki is. They felt God Ki. They have it themselves when they're Super Saiyan Blues. So why is he questioning whether or not this is the pressure of a god's energy? Because Black and Zamasu individually should have God Ki, right? I mean, they are gods. Zamasu is literally a god, like the god of creation, basically. I guess, he took that mantle once he took the earring, and Zamasu, or Black, is Goku with God Ki, just using Zamasu's God Ki, I guess, because how else would his base form be able to fight Goku's Super Saiyan 2 form, Like, how else would his just getting this new form suddenly make him more powerful or on the same level of Goku and Vegeta if he doesn't have God Ki? I mean, I know Trunks can fight them, but, like, he has to be a god. Like, why wouldn't he be using God Ki? So I don't really necessarily get this line from Goku in the next episode preview. But it looks like he's really wrecking them and messing them up. Like, he's dropping all these blasts now. I don't know if he killed Yajirobe here. I mean, I feel bad for the Jack Black of Dragon Ball if he did. You know, he survived the androids, but now he's gonna die from Black. But I mean, it's probably like a little teaser, and he's probably like scared or passed out from fear or something like that, like Manaka. You know, I mean, I would be surprised if they really kill him off. And what would be the point of killing this character off at this point? Just to make Zamasu seem that much more evil? I mean, anyone can kill Yajirobe. Like, it's not that big of a deal. The guy would probably choke at some point on his own food, you know, on those sensu beans. So no matter how strong the enemy, all we gotta do is get even stronger. No matter how, you know, like, and here comes Trunks, like, actually fighting against this fusion. I don't care what kind of transformation this dude has, there's no way he's going to fare any chance against the fusion of two characters who are already at least on his level or more powerful. Hopefully we get a little bit of more proof as to how much more powerful he is as a fusion, and for all we know, this is still his base form and not like a Super Saiyan transformation, but he might not be able to go Super Saiyan at this point. I mean, I think he probably should still be able to go into the Rosé form, because the fact that, like, technically he would be a half Saiyan and Gohan, you know, can do it, and Trunks can do, like, Super Saiyan forms and stuff. I don't really know, but, you know, next time on Dragon Ball Super, is this the final judgment, the ultimate power of the absolute god? Don't miss it. And we see Goku charging up his Kaioken, or not his Kaioken, his Kamehameha, but I wonder if maybe in the next episode they're going to try and reincorporate the Kaioken, because it doesn't look like this is Vegetto or even Gogeta, so it doesn't seem like in the next episode, from what we can see, they're going to fuse. I almost feel like they probably would show it in the next episode preview, just like they showed his, if they really were, just get us all to tune in. So it'd be really weird if they don't fuse in the next episode. I mean, they have the two Supreme Kais there, but I feel like what's going to happen almost is in the next episode, from what we can see, it's just going to be Goku and Vegeta trying to fight this fusion and getting their asses kicked. So at the end of the episode, you know, Trunks gets his ass kicked too. So at the next, you know, at the end of the next episode, they're probably just going to be like, okay, let's fuse together, screw it, let's just do it, and then that'll be the cliffhanger. Like, they're either going to fuse at the end of the next episode, or they can't steal him away, though. So again, what is fusion going to do? Is fusion going to be so powerful that it overrides the power of the Super Dragon Balls, like Goku's Super Saiyan 4 and Dragon Ball GT? Or are they going to keep attacking him, and then they're just going to run out of stamina, and then that's it? Like, they're going to have to hit the button to bring Zeno there, or Daishinkan is going to have to show up and beat them. But the thing is, like, where is Daishinkan and Zeno in this universe? Like, we know about Whis. We know that he is not active. But what about Daishinkan? You know, if all the gods are dead, is he, like, suddenly deactivated too? Or, you know, what is really going on in this case? I don't really know, but I guess we're going to have to find out. Ultimately, Zeno seems like the clearest answer to, like, how they can absolutely beat this guy, if even Vegetto how just create a new amulet or whatever they need to create. But let me know your own thoughts down below in the comments section, what you think is going to happen, because I'd be really curious to know. Also, if you haven't taken the time yet to subscribe to my channel, I make Dragon Ball content, but I also make other anime content. I do series reviews, movie reviews, and I talk about Star Wars. I love to talk about all these things. So if you like all these things too, subscribe to me and hit those notifications so you can get all my videos as they come out when they come out. And as I always say, stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future.